Hi, welcome to a reading vlog. In this reading vlog, we are reading anticipated indie fantasy, but also we are reading books that could have won SPFBO. Really what I'm meaning is I'm reading books that were in SPFBO at some point. If you don't know what SPFBO is, it is a self-published fantasy blog-off hosted by Mark Lawrence. I'm reading from past SPFBO years. Anything 1 to 8 was in the ballpark. Like, I could read whatever was in 1 to 8. I just couldn't read 9 because obviously I'm a judge, so couldn't do that. And I did find 3 books I wanted to read. One of these was a finalist and 2 of them are semi-finalists. And there's a whole process. I have a video on how SPFBO works. If you're interested, I'll link it down below because I'm not going to go over it today. But it is a really, really fun and cool competition about reading indie books. And I find so many favorites through following along with SPFBO. So I might do that in this video as well. Here are my exciting SPFBO reads. The first one is a finalist from SPFBO 3, which is... that's the wrong book. The first one is a finalist from SPFBO 3, which is The Crimson Queen by Alec Hudson. This came really close to winning in his year, and I need to know why. I loved The Umbral Storm. I read The Umbral Storm for SPFBO 8, wasn't a judge, but did the whole like SPFBO Casties version on my channel. There's a whole playlist if you want to see it. And I really enjoyed The Umbral Storm, so I knew I wanted to read his backlist. And me and Mel picked this for our book club for our Patreon because we run a bi-monthly Patreon for our 2 top tiers together. We picked this and the whole series, so I'm reading this. I'm excited to see what all the buzz is about. Do I know what this is about? No. So future Casty will tell you what it's about when I've read a bit. I'm just gonna say that for all the books. I'm really excited to read this one. It definitely could have won SPFBO. I think it was like 3rd up. Like it got the 3rd highest score. This one like is a really big contender for something that could have won SPFBO, so I'm excited to see my thoughts on whether it could have won. The next one is Army of the Curse by Karim Solomon. This one has been on my TBR for a while now. I've been so excited to read it ever since I read the prologue, which is a desert setting, and I thought that was so fun and I really enjoyed that first chapter. And so I've been waiting to read this for a vlog at some point. Finally, it's time to shine because this was in SPFBO 7. It was a semi-finalist. The Iron Crown by L.L. McRae ended up being the finalist for that blog, but this was one of their semi-finalists. I am very excited to read this, like very excited. I'm excited for all these books, but this is like my number one I think I'm gonna love. It just like has so many buzzwords for me. There's 3 POVs, a desert setting, a cursed Army of the Curse, which is like demons. I'm really excited for this. I think it's non-Western. Really excited for this one. And then the last book that I'll be reading is The Blood of the Spear by Mark Timoney. This one was also a semi-finalist in SPFBO 7. It was for Fantasy Faction, and Burn Red Skies beat it out for a finalist. I still haven't read this, but I do own it. I can't wait to read it. But this was a semi-finalist that year. It also had a big competition because another semi-finalist for that blog was Dragon Mage. And although I did not love Dragon Mage, it is such a big popular indie that so many people loved that like it had some tough competition, and I'm just excited to see if I love this, if I think it could have won, if I would have picked it as a finalist, you know, that type situation. So let's get into the reading and see my thoughts on these 3 books. I started The Crimson Queen and I'm really enjoying it. Unsurprised because of how much I loved The Umbral Storm. I had high hopes for this one, but I was also kind of nervous because this was written before this, and I do think that the world building, although I loved and was mesmerized with, was a little bit clunky and the characters weren't as strong, but I still like overall just had such a fun time with this that I gave it 4 stars and loved it. But I was like, well, what's the writing gonna be like in this one? However, this one was a finalist as well in SPFBO 3. And actually almost won. Like it had, I think, like the 3rd top score. And I completely see why. I think it's actually better written than The Umbral Storm is. Where The Umbral Storm is just like a lot more fun. This one feels like a lot more like concise, which was like a big complaint I had for The Umbral Storm, was just that it was like too much. It felt like the author was doing everything. The Crimson Queen feels more contained to its story and its world and its magic system, and so fun. I'm really enjoying it. I'm about 100 pages in right now. I don't have a bookmark. I will in a second. This follows a story where we're following a world where sorcery and magic is kind of like outlawed. At some point in their history, there was a big issue with sorcery. And then the king of this one land had a war against sorcery and won. And now sorcery is outlawed, not allowed. They kill anyone with a speck of magic. But in one of the side nations, there is the Crimson Queen, who is taking the world by storm and allowing magic back into her country. Obviously, we're gonna see a war, I think, a battle, and we follow our main character who lives in a fishing village who isn't a sorcerer, but when he sticks his hand in the water, the fish come to him. And I mean, I love fishing, so like this, I thought that was so fun. I love when there's fishing in my books. I don't know why. And yeah, I'm just having a really good time with this. I think that the world is being set up really well. I'm understanding the politics and the different places and people. It is multi-POV, but like very like specific on when it changes multi-POV. Like it's not always like a convenient like 1, 2, 3. Like sometimes you'll have 7 chapters of one character and then you'll switch to another character. But like so far I found everything like necessary and interesting, and it's not just like switching to switch, and it's not just staying to stay. Yeah, I'm just like having a really, really fun time with this. So this is the first win for Indie Archive, which is my top tier Patreon, 2 top tier patrons, 2 top tiers, and Mel's 2 top tiers. We run a book club together, and we've had like not a lot of luck this year with our picks. We've just had like a lot of mediocre DNFs. However, I am loving this, loving it. I'm listening to the audiobook and really, really enjoying it. What else needs to be done in this video is a little unboxing. Let's do this one first. I have no idea what this is. Oh, I do know what this is. I ordered this myself. I ordered a couple lick mats to try for my cat. It's just some lick mats, nothing exciting. Wow. Need a drink. I decided to try the new like frozen lemonades at Starbucks, and it melted so quickly. And however, like why would you ever get this over coffee? Like I will never order this again. And not because it's bad, it's actually tasty, but like I'll forever pick an iced coffee. I don't even get like the frappuccinos though, so I'm just not the right audience for it. However, this one is really exciting. I've already started it because it comes so wrapped. This is my July and September bookmark for my top tier patrons, the Leviathans, which I haven't seen yet, so let's hope that they look good. That gold painted edge is so stunning. There are 2 bookmarks in here. Oh my god, I already see them. I'm so excited. Ah! Okay. Oh my lord. Stunning. Oh my god. Look at how pretty this is. This is the bookmark I made that's inspired by Blood Mercy, and I think it's literally stunning. I actually think it's gonna fit the second book even better. Like, look how pretty that is. So we have 2 sides. It is double-sided. The one quote is, "Those who wanted too much were dangerous. Those who appeared not to want anything were much more so." And then you flip it on over to this side, and it says, "Who would not count himself fortunate to be your choice when all your choices are so carefully made?" I drew the heart, I drew the flowers, I even drew the border. It's literally so fucking pretty. I am obsessed. Okay, now the other ones. Oh my god. Guys, I cannot get over how pretty these are. I'm obsessed. This one is inspired by Fireborn, which I love. And it says, "And as with the gods, the world quaked to see them fireborn," on the one side. And on the back, it says, "On the backs of dragons, we rise." And I literally think that this is so stunning. Just like looking at that. I mean, look at them both just shine. Stunning. Oh my god, I'm obsessed. Obsessed. One of these will go out in July and one of them goes out in September, because I do a thick bookmark and then a thin bookmark and then a thick bookmark and a thin bookmark currently. So yeah, that's my update for you. Hello, I have a few more unboxings to do. I got some packages. I ordered these. I know what they are. I ordered some different fandom merch because I love clothes. I'm already obsessed. I love the color. Like, look how pretty that is. Oh, it feels really soft. I got it really oversized because I like my clothing oversized, but it is Fourth Wing inspired, and it has all of the dragon tails from the Draco Species catalog. I'm so excited to wear this. I just got a simple pink crew neck. Again, I loved oversized, but it has a cat on a moon, and I love cats. And then this one is Serpent and the Wings of Night inspired, and it has the Kajari Tournament Champion House of Night on it. It's obviously summer, so sweaters. I still wear sweaters, I'm not gonna lie. You see me in sweaters all the time, but I'm on chapter 14, so I am about 170-ish pages in currently. I want to say, like, what I love about Alec Hudson's books are how classic fantasy they do feel to me, but also how, like, modern and unique they feel. Like, they definitely have that, like, classic fantasy style, like, you know, chosen one boy, magic, wizards, good versus evil style. However, it just is paired with this, like, really unique magic system and world building that makes it feel, like, so modern to me in some ways. And I constantly say that I don't think I'm a classic fantasy kind of person because I, like, struggle with, like, reading the same things over and over and over again, and I want it to be, like, a little bit more unique. But I love his take on, like, classic fantasy. Like, I think that it does have what I'm looking for in terms of, like, unique elements to it, that it doesn't feel like I'm reading a story that I've read time and time again. Think, like, Lord of the Rings and Wheel of Time. Like, I feel like I've already read that story before. And so in this story, like, I'm really enjoying, like, the magic take. I like the, like, politics that are happening. Like, there's interesting things happening that aren't just revolving around our chosen one. And I think that that is just, like, in itself, like, so fun to, like, see more than just, oh, I have to root for this guy the entire time, because, like, we do have other POVs happening that are important to the story and that I actually care about more, and I think it's, like, fun to have such an expansive world. I don't have a lot of extra thoughts on this. I just kind of, like, wanted to speak that into the vlog. I'm really interested in, like, the dark ones. There's, like, a spider scene in this book that, like, I hate spiders. Like, I went to go see She Who Shall Not Be Named, the third movie, I think, in theaters when I was quite young, when it came out. And my grandpa took me out of the theater because I could not handle the, like, spider scene. I hate spiders so much. And I just feel like whenever, like, I watch them or read about them, I just feel like they're, like, crawling on my skin. And I don't like it. I don't like it at all. So, I'm just finishing getting ready. And I'm going to continue reading that, and I'm excited. My reading, this is taking me a little bit longer than I wanted it to, but because my parents, I still live at home with my parents. In case anyone didn't know, we have been obsessed with a new cooking competition show called Next Level Chef. It's got Gordon Ramsay, and I, like, love Gordon Ramsay, but it also has Richard Blais, who was on Top Chef, and I obviously, oh my god, I threw that. I watched Top Chef, and I love Richard Blais, but it's, like, this cooking show that has, like, actual trained chef, home chefs, social media chefs, and there's, like, 3 different kitchens. So there's the basement kitchen where, like, half your shit doesn't work. There's the middle kitchen, which is, like, your regular, like, kitchen that you'd have, like, at a restaurant, and then there's, like, the top kitchen, which is, like, the most high-end, like, your dream kitchen. And so people in the top have, like, a better kitchen, which gives them, like, an extra, like, value, like, it makes their cooking easier, and each week it switches who's who. In this season, it's not this way, but in, like, later seasons, they become, like, if you're on the top, like, if you won, you get the top, and if you lost, you get the bottom. This season, it's all random. It's, like, really cool to see, like, when people from the bottom win the, like, cooking competition, because, like, they'll be making pizza in an oven that barely heats, and, like, it's just, like, so incredible to see, and, like, I really love it. There's, like, a lot of gimmick to this cooking show, where, like, Top Chef, there's not a lot of gimmick, if that makes sense. However, it is so entertaining to watch, and I love it. The reason that I found out about it is through my sister on TikTok. There is this noodle girl that I love to watch, and she was on season 2, so I can't wait to get to season 2 because I'm still on season 1. But yeah, I've been obsessed with watching it. I don't know what to do with my life other than, like, wanting to watch it, but I do need to, like, continue reading this. Also, like, everyone says Gordon Ramsay's such a mean person, and, like, I get it because, like, Hell's Kitchen and he, like, yelled at everyone, but, like, when you actually watch him on other shows, like, he's so nice and he's so good at training people. Anyways, if you didn't know, like, I love food, so cooking competitions, I love them. If you watch any, let me know. I watch Top Chef. I also watch MKR, My Kitchen Rules, which is, like, an Australian cooking show, which is fun. I actually just started that one too, but, like, we were watching that, but we got distracted by Next Level Chef, and then we'll go back to My Kitchen Rules. And I have 1 season left of Top Chef before, like, the current season. I guess it's technically not the current season because it's over now, but I didn't love the current season. I was originally watching it while it was on TV, but I just felt like all the US people were gonna win and I didn't like that. Anyways, I'll update you on the book in a bit. I'll finish getting ready. Hello. The best part about working for yourself is you never have to leave your house, and it's great. This can go down though. I don't need to look like a hood rat. Cheers. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I've been watching Summer House instead of reading. I'm re-watching Summer House because I've already seen it all. I'm on season 4 currently of my rewatch and I am loving it just as much the second time. I am a reality TV whore. Like, I love it. All kinds of reality TV. I'm here for it. Give it to me. I want it. I like to feel better about my own life by watching people be absolutely ridiculous on TV. Anyways, I made it to 50%, I think. I'm on page 216. This book has lost me. It went in a direction that I didn't want it to go. I was really fascinated at first by the different politics and having magic and how it was outlawed and seeing how it was going to be reacted to in this outlawed country. I feel like as the book has gone on, we've kind of lost the fact that it was even outlawed. Like, I don't know, like it feels like not an important fact, even though I think that that was such an important setup in the first part of the book. We're doing a lot of traveling and I just don't like a lot of traveling. Like, I've complained about it before and I think that's particularly the reason I don't like classic fantasy. Is a lot of classic fantasy is traveling. Think Wheel of Time and Lord of the Rings. And I just like, I'm not a big fan of traveling for the sake of traveling and not really doing much during traveling. However, I'm still hopeful because it is such a unique world and I liked the addition of like the wraiths. Jan is definitely my least favorite POV. There's something about his POV that I don't think is well written, but I don't want to say it here. I'm still hopeful that the ending will pull through. Like, it was such a strong beginning for me that even though like the middle is slumping for me, like sometimes that happens in a book. And so I'm hoping the ending just like pulls through and I end up like really, really loving this. I think regardless, I want to continue on in the series, and Indie Archive, our current plan is if we liked this, we are continuing it on. Otherwise, we will replace it with other indie books. However, both me and Mel are also thinking about our next year picks. So recommendations for indie books for next year's year of Indie Archive will be highly wanted. So let them down below. Our patrons do get to vote on what we read, but it comes from like a pool of things. So definitely give us some ideas down below if you have recommendations for indie books. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have much to say. I just wanted to say like I'm kind of slumping, and like slumping enough that like my plan today was to finish it, and instead I've watched 4 episodes of Summer House while editing photos instead of listening to my audiobook. Hi, I'm just making myself a BLT for lunch and I figured I would come talk to you about the Crimson Queen because I have 30 minutes left of listening time. Ignore my cat, I'm in the kitchen, he thinks it's food time. I'm not loving this, although it started out so strong for me. However, this is not the fault of the book at all. I think that this is definitely a me issue because it is a story that I have talked about multiple times not liking elements of. Anytime I read a wizard book, I don't like it. I have issues with it. I thought that this could be better, but it still fell to the things I don't like. The main issue with wizard stories for me is always the magic system. Because wizard magic systems are almost always about the person. They run off of who you are being what your magic is. So I look at it as like when you're being born, someone's sitting there like, you get magic, you get a whole lot of magic, you're not pretty good with magic, and you get magic, and you don't get any magic. And there's no like logic to it. It's just who you are as a person is how much magic you have and how good you're gonna be at magic. Ooh, hot. And I do think there are elements of like training, but most of the time we're not shown that in a wizard story, so it just feels so instant in their magic connection and there doesn't feel like there's a lot to it. And specifically why I have issues is then we have a lot of like things that they can do for literally no reason. Like all of a sudden there's no rules or restrictions to the magic system, so anything is possible. And I don't like that. I definitely prefer my magic systems to be a lot more logical. They don't have to be hard magic systems, but there has to be some logic to them and some rules to it. I don't like when you can just be in a scenario and all of a sudden do something. Like, just magically, I can do this. I forgot I could do this. I do have books where, like, the magic system, the rules are broken, however it makes sense and you're shown how we got from point A to point C. Like, we went A, B, C, we didn't go A to C right away. And I feel like in wizard magic systems, often that's what we're getting. It's just like a giant gap to C where I didn't get to see B. And I just, like, really don't like that in my books. And I have this issue with every wizard magic system I've ever read. There is no in between for me. I just do not enjoy it, and that is 100% okay. Like, I can be aware of the fact that these kind of stories do not work for me. I do think the writing is strong. However, everything in this book happens through dialogue, which does irk me quite a bit. Like, it's literally just two characters talking, and that's how we get anything that happens in here. Like, we're never shown elements. We're just having a conversation about the things happening around us. Like, ooh, there's a fight breaking out. I guess I should go wield my sword, and I'm gonna do this, this, and this with my sword. Instead of, like, showing us the motions, we'll learn about it in, like, a campfire story after, being like, I did this, and I did this. So, yeah, I'm not loving it. But, however, I'm not hating it either. I'm going to come back to you at the end of this story and give you my final thoughts, because I do still have 30 minutes left. I can't see my thoughts changing very much, but maybe I'll be shocked. I do plan on continuing. I mean, it is a book club book, so it is kind of mandatory, but I'm gonna go eat my BLT and finish the book. I'm done, and although I did not love this book, I personally think it's a very me issue. The reasons I don't like it aren't because it's badly written, it's because the things it does just don't work for me as a reader. This is so overexposed. That looks better. So I get why it got such a high score in SPFBO. I think it had a chance to win. I also see so much of the Umbral Storm. I think that one of my issues with this book was that there's too much going on. We kept being introduced to, like, really cool world building things, these, like, fascinating, like, creatures and things like that. We had, like, the shadow sword magic. I kept being like, oh my god, I liked that. Give me more about that, and don't give me, like, another new thing. Like, I just kept, like, we kept adding new things, which were all cool, but I wanted more depth in the things we already had. I wanted to learn more about the things we already had. And I do think I could probably say the same thing about the Umbral Storm. Just the things that we got depth on in the Umbral Storm worked for me, and the things that we got depth in this didn't work for me. Like, I didn't care about the characters at all in this. I didn't really care about the journey that was going on. I wanted to see more of, like, the politics and stuff than just, like, seeing things happen. The shadow sword I thought was so cool, but also, like, I didn't understand it at all, and I think it's, like, a point to not understand it, but I was like, okay, give me, like, some rules on this magic. Give me, like, let me understand this cool weapon. I think I'm more logically driven than this book was willing to give me. However, the magic system in the Umbral Storm was so logically driven that I loved it. Like, there was clear rules and regulations to how your magic progressed, and I liked that. Where in this one, like, it just felt like too much of just like, here's the magic, do anything with it. So yeah, it's very, very specific to me. I don't really like traveling. There's a lot of traveling in this. I think that people could like this in the indie archive Discord. Lots of people were enjoying it a lot more than me. We're continuing. I'm excited to continue. The ending is fascinating. Like, there is some interesting things that happen in the ending of this book. Like, I'm excited to see where it goes. But yeah, I just didn't love it. But that's a completely me thing. I have to go let Porpy out today, and I want to go to the bookstore, and I want Starbucks. So I'm taking you guys along with me. And at some point we're also going to talk about Army of the Cursed, because I did start that, but I'm impatient and want my Starbucks now, so we're going to go do that now. I feel so fine, but it wasn't true. I don't want to keep secrets just to keep you and I stuck in through the garden gate every night that summer just to see my face. Whoa.
Hi, good morning. What can I get for you? Hi, can I get a venti iced latte made with oat milk? Can I add 2 pumps of mocha and 2 pumps of brown sugar syrup and then top it with an oat milk foam? Have a good day. Okay, I've never tried this secret menu. I got a venti. I don't know why I always get grandes, but here we go. Could be sweet. You never know. I like that. It's supposed to taste like an oatmeal cookie. This is blinking at me, so could stop really fast, but I did end up going to 2 bookstores because one of my bookstores tends to have a better indie selection sometimes. The person who shelves their romance obviously reads indie romance, and sometimes there's like indie fan row and stuff. So I went to that one and I got 2 books. It also has a better horror selection normally at that one. I got the new Darcy Coates Dead of Winter. I needed this. I love Darcy Coates, so why not? And then I also bought the second book in the Girl with the Ice series. It was the only one they had in hardcover. Although I'm a paperback lover, I cannot find Mark Lawrence books in like regular sized paperbacks, so I have them all in mass market paperbacks, and I'm switching to like getting them in hardcover. However, they're really also hard for me to find in hardcover. I have The Book That Wouldn't Burn, I have a special edition of Prince of Thorns, then I have Grey Sister and Holy Sister, and I've been looking for Red Sister for I don't know how long now, but it's so hard to find. I have to find it secondhand, so I'm doing the thing to try and search for it. However, I now realize I also want the Book of the Ice series in hardcover, so every time I see one, I'm picking it up. So I picked up the Girl in the Ice, and I need the first and the third still of that series. And I went to the bigger bookstore, and I got 3 books. One of them is the mass market paperback of The Girl on the Moon, because I want to write all in this when I read it, because if you don't know, Backlist is doing Mark Lawrence currently, so we're reading the book The Ancestor, and I think if that goes well, we will move on to the Book of the Ice after the Book The Ancestor, and they're rereads for me, so I've been annotating the crap out of that one. This is the only one I haven't read yet, so I think I'm going to annotate this one on my first time reading, and then also again on my second time reading, which will be fun. Then I picked up the new Stefan Arion. He writes the Coward series. I know nothing about this. I looked at some Goodreads reviews. They sounded pretty good. It is historical fantasy, which can be like hit or miss for me. Sometimes I like it, but like I love She Who Became the Sun. And then I also picked up the paperback that finally came out of Empire of the Vampire, and I want to do a vampire reading vlog for spooky season. I plan on starting this in August, but also I have so many reading plans that I don't know how I have time for any of them or all of them, so who knows, but I do want to read this, and then I will be coming back. I got cut off by my camera battery dying. I am home now. I was gonna rant a little bit about how annoying it is that bookstores, you know, when I walk into my bookstore, like, the fantasy section feels so big, except for that more than half of it is just Brandon Sanderson, Tolkien, George R.R. Martin, and now Sarah J. Maas has, like, 2 whole shelves in it as well. And I understand why they do this, because obviously that's popular, that's what sells, and, like, they have all those copies because that is what's selling. However, I just know that there's so many amazing fantasy books out there that I get so frustrated that I can't find. And it's just like, I know that it's because they're not selling and like you can't have them. It's just like, I don't know, it just frustrates. That's all. Anyways, let's talk about Army of the Cursed, because I did start it this morning. I am 65 pages in, so I'm not super far, but I have met all 3 of our POVs twice, I believe, at this point. I cannot tell you what these POVs are about yet or how they're going to interconnect, but the basic concept of this is a sequel series, so I have not read the original series. You can read them separately. However, I do think that this like spoils the ending of the original series, but this one interested me more, so I'm just picking it up, and I don't care if I know the ending of the other one personally. And I could be wrong about that, but this follows a world where there's this premonition called The Last Day, and it is called the War of Last Days series. It's a duology, I think. And on this last day, the demons are coming and are going to like kill everyone. Like, demons aren't like a regular occurrence in this world, so it's like a belief that like demons are rising from the afterlife to come get you on this one day. So there are mages that are being kept around so that they can fight against the last day, and then there's like the different politics of people who believe in the last day and people who think that it's like made up. And
I think it's really interesting. We have 3 POVs, 2 of which are princesses in different parts of the world. And the first chapter I found a little bit confusing, but I'm actually really excited because I think it's going to add a lot of politics to see the different sides. And our other POV is just like a male fighter who is from the giant race, but quite small, I believe. And he's in like a small village. So I'm excited to see how everything connects. Also, the male fighter in like his first chapter is like really good at fighting, even though that he's not really that well trained, and so I thought that was interesting. I'm really excited to see where this one goes. So far, I'm really intrigued by it. While I'm filming this clip, I'm currently still reading The Crimson Queen, even though I'm already done it in this video. And I just wish that I could read this instead of The Crimson Queen, but The Crimson Queen is my audiobook, and I have so much to do that needs an audiobook. I wish this had an audiobook so I could listen to it. Now, I ended up doing so much errands and just like running around, but I did end up at my local Asian supermarket. So want to see my grocery haul? Mostly it was a dumpling run, so you're going to see a lot of dumplings. These are kimchi dumplings. We have cabbage and pork buns that are delicious to go with your dumplings. These are like pot sticker styles, and they are pork and vegetable. This one is a pork and leek dumpling. Good old shumai, which is just like shrimp dumplings. And then a new addition for me is these like flat dumplings. I think I'm gonna have some of these for lunch with a green onion cake and maybe some noodles. Then I also grabbed the like bulldog spicy noodles that I'm seeing everywhere on TikTok. I'm not the biggest spice fan. Like, I like a little bit of spice, but these could be too spicy for me. But I wanted to try them. A restock in one of my favorite ramens, which is just the Sapporo Ichiban, which is the tonkatsu flavor. A little bit of hot pepper paste, gochujang's. Some fresh ramen noodles for if I want to make my own broth and not be lazy. And enoki mushrooms to go into like my little ramen because I love enoki mushrooms, even though I don't like mushrooms. Like, I do not like any other type of mushroom. I find them slimy, but I love enoki mushrooms, especially like if you heat them up in the microwave in some soy sauce for like 10 seconds only. And then we are normally a disposable chopstick family, but I did buy some reusable chopsticks. Normally they just get wrecked in the dishwasher and we're too lazy to hand wash our chopsticks. So that's why. But I'm hoping that these ones don't. These are like the style of chopsticks that you used to have at the pho restaurant, and we ran those through the dishwasher. And eventually they got wrecked, but like a lot longer than wood ones would go. So hoping that works out. Now I gotta get all this in the freezer. I gotta start lunch because it's already 1:30, but I'm starving. And I will see you guys soon.
It is so short and just super easy to fly through.
Okay, I am 33% into Army of the Cursed, and I am really enjoying it. I really like the writing style. Karim Solomon's writing just like really works for me. I find it like really accessible and really like easy to read. I'm liking the characters quite a bit. I like all of them. Although I did think it was mainly from 3 POVs, and we definitely have 3 main characters. We have other POVs like mingled in there as well, and I like those, and I'm enjoying that. I'm really enjoying the lore of the world and the history. I don't feel like I'm missing anything. I don't feel like anything that I need to know for this series isn't well explained. However, I'm so intrigued by what happened in the past series. I definitely need to read it. Like, I'm really intrigued. I think if I finish this and I love this, I will go back and read series 1. Not because I think it was necessary to read this, but because like I'm like, oh my god, that sounds so cool whenever they reference something that happened in that past. Hello, it's morning. I'm not ready yet. I have to work today. I have to go to a wedding. But I am on chapter 20, so I am 200 pages in. I would probably say I'm around the 50% mark now. And the reveals we're getting, loving. I'm really having an amazing time with this. I think the story is so interesting. And I will, as soon as I finish this one, I need to get my hands on the prequel series. I'm going to read it. Since we talked last time, I will say I'm struggling with one of the POVs. Helgrim's POV does not interest me as much as the 2 other main characters, specifically because I just like am struggling with his motivations and why he's doing things. He doesn't feel as fully fleshed out to me as the 2 princesses do, but I love both of their POVs so much, and I'm so intrigued. Yeah, I need to keep reading because we just got a reveal that I'm like
what? And I'm really enjoying this. Hi, I am literally just walking in from my wedding. And I'm gonna back these photos up. I'm going to start a bath. I'm blurry, whatever, it's fine. It's been a long day. And read the rest of this book and do those things. Get myself a nice glass of wine because I need to finish the vlog. I need to finish this book. And also, I'm so sore after that wedding. It was a long day on my feet and hot today. And when it was a backyard wedding, so all outside, very hot. I'm definitely sunburned. And on top of that, Canada is just like always on fire these days. So it's so smoky and my lungs hurt. But a bath and a book heal all, right? Good morning. I am tired this morning, which is completely normal after a wedding. I call it a wedding day hangover. I didn't drink, but all of the excitement, the talking, the like having to be like smiling all day and like doing something and talking to random people and like doing small talk all day like just tires me out so much. And so every day after a wedding, I die the next day and I have a headache and I just want to lounge around. We have iced coffee and it's delicious. However, last night I finished this. Completed Army of the Cursed and I had a great time. I'm currently really struggling with what to give this. I'm struggling between a 3 and a 4 and I've been struggling since last night when I finished it. I've put it through my rating system and I don't 100% feel certain about where it sits, so that's my problem. So I was like, well, this number could be higher, this number could be lower. So it's like either a really high 3 or a low 4. But I'm gonna talk about it and just like, you can take what I say as my rating, whether I talk myself into it, whatever rating. It doesn't really matter besides like my thoughts on the actual story. I read this really quickly. I really liked the writing style in it. I found it really easy to read, to get involved in, and it is fast-paced. There's always something happening, and I think that is a strength and a weakness of the story because I was always wanting to continue, always wanted to know what was happening, was suckered into the story. However, I do feel like I was missing small moments sometimes to just keep the story going, and I would have liked to see a little bit more like character moments. I think that this could have been longer than it is, or it is a duology. I think it maybe could have been a trilogy. Our 3 characters that are like the main characters in this, because in this we're following a younger generation than the first story, so it does feel like easy to understand what happened in the first story because you are kind of told by like the elders, the older characters, what happened, and it felt real to like a young character learning about like the stories of legends about their parents and their grandparents and like things like that. Like it did feel honest to that, which made it a really easy way to like understand what happened in the last series and not ever feel like you were missing anything. And I don't ever feel like I missed anything plot-wise or world-building-wise. I felt like this did wrap itself up into one arc really well. Like I understood the world, I understood the plot going on. However, as I got closer to the end of the book, we did have a switch from priority from the younger characters to the older characters. And when I had that switch, I felt like I was missing something. Not world, not plot, but missing character moments. Because there is, I think it's a 5-book series about a POV that you get in this story. And it is a pretty important character in this story. So like, I do wish I had known their backstory. Do I think it took away from my enjoyment? No, but I in this you had to assume who his character was, but you obviously have 5 books to like learn about his character. And I think that's on me. Like I do think that you can read this as a standalone.
So, like, I don't know. It's, like, hard to say whether I feel like you needed to read the first book, because I don't think you needed to read the first series to understand and have a really good time with this. However, I wish I did, and I think I will be reading that series before I continue on, just because, like, I wanted to know more about that character. And obviously, like, this does spoil things, I think, that happen in the first series. So, like, if you don't like spoilers, which, like, I'm a person who doesn't care about spoilers at all, that's fine with me. But I do think going in order makes sense for most people, but I don't think it's necessary. I think that's my problem. I think, like, I do not think it's necessary, but preference-wise, I would recommend not starting with this. I would start with the other one. Although, like, I really, really did enjoy this. I really, really also really enjoyed the magic system in this. It was elemental mage magic, also had science behind it because the mages would make like potions to enhance their magical abilities. I thought that was really cool. I did like the demons and the style of the Army of the Cursed. I do think that this book was just rushed in general, in my opinion. Like, I really just wish it was longer. I mean, it is 400 pages, so I don't know what the 500 pages, so I don't know what that says about me that I wanted this to be longer. I think that's such a good compliment, though, because, like, I wanted more out of this story, and I had such a good time with it. I think I'm giving it a 4. Because overall, I just had a really, really good experience with this. I really enjoyed it, and I definitely will be recommending it. I will be trying more of Karim Solomon's books. I do have The Third Crossing, which is mentioned in this, so I'm intrigued. It's a standalone in this world that is in SPFBO 9 currently, so I'm super excited about that. But I am gonna read the second book in this, and I think I'm gonna read the other series as well. I really had a good time with this. I really did enjoy it. I think the young characters were strong, the magic system was strong, the plot itself was strong. I really, really, really liked the world building. We saw so many different places in this, and I'm excited to see the place that they're going to at the end of the story, because that place sounds really interesting with like the dragon scale and things like that. And I just overall had a good time with this. I struggled with one POV quite a bit just because I felt like his motives didn't make sense, and I think for me personally it is an issue with like how that character reacted to a thing that he got. It's a way that I wouldn't have reacted, so it's hard to like relate to him because I think very differently about this thing. However, I did like the journey to the end of the story where like his opinion kind of changed, and I thought that was really, really well done in the end. And yeah, I just like, I wanted more depth, I wanted more time, but like I had a fun time. So yeah, take that as you will. I really, really did enjoy this story. Okay, I need to update you on The Blood of the Spear. I picked this up this morning. The audiobook was available on Scribd. The audiobook just came out and I'm really enjoying it. And I was thinking like I'd update you when I hit like 75 pages, like my first initial response, and instead I'm on page 170. I'm flying through this morning. I'm really, really, really enjoying it. And I love that for me. It's funny because I had no idea what this was about this morning. I obviously in the past knew what this was about. I read the synopsis, I went and ordered it, put it on my TBR. I knew what it was about at that time. However, when I woke up this morning, I couldn't remember any of that, and I was just blindly trusting Past Cassidy, and I think Past Cassidy did a pretty good job putting this on my TBR. Now, I'm going to try and explain this to you now, and I'm not sure I can do that because I don't fully know like where like endgame is in the story yet. I'm just enjoying the journey that we're on currently, but like I can't tell you the overall plot yet. But like I'm okay with that. I'm really enjoying our characters and what they're experiencing and learning about the world, so I'm fine with not knowing what endgame is yet. So this story opens up with Kyle, who is trying to become a demon hunter. He has to pass a trial. He has to go against another competitor to pass this trial to become an apprentice to be a demon hunter. And we watch him fail. And that's not a spoiler. First chapter, it's on the back of the book. I double checked. And I found this so relatable because then he goes back to town and he's trying to figure out what to do next. Okay, now I couldn't do this. What do I do next? And as a 25-year-old, I'm 26. As a 26-year-old, I found this so relatable for in your 20s, where like, I think honestly you can find this relatable at any stage in your life, but like specifically I think at these earlier adulthood moments, especially like when you're getting out of school or something. I know so many people who are going through these problems where like, this didn't work out. Plan A did not work out. Now what do I do? And watching him go through this is just like, that's something I felt when I experienced those as well. And yeah, so I'm just really, really enjoying that. But then on top of that, we do have these demons, which are really cool. I mean, there's a spider scene within 10 pages of the opening of this book. I'm like, why are the spiders haunting me? In this vlog, why are the spiders haunting me? But also, I was so grossed out and creeped out. And like, that's what they do. Like, that's the point of having this spider scene. And the one later on too, like there's another one, don't like, but I also love. And then we have Kyle's little brother who has magic, and in this world, when magic is left untrained, you can die from it. And so his brother is gonna go train under like the prince and the magic people where the prince lives, and Kyle doesn't want his brother to go, and like there's this whole scenario, which I also think is so relatable. Is like, not, you grow up as kids and you grow up together and you think we're gonna be friends forever, we're gonna be best of friends, we're gonna see each other every day forever, and even with like siblings and stuff, and then you become an adult and you separate. And the separation is just like very hard to deal with, and sometimes you don't deal with it well, sometimes you end up not separating, sometimes you end up giving up your own dreams to not separate, and like things like that. I don't know where the story is going in terms of separation, but whatever path it goes on, I think it's going to be really relatable. And yeah, I'm really, really enjoying it. I'm also just enjoying the world building. I think that the underneath is really cool, and with like the tainted ones and like looking for a mark on the tainted ones. I can't really describe this book very well to you, but I'm just vibing. I'm just currently really, really vibing, and I'm really excited. I hope I can fly through a lot more today. I'm really enjoying this one. I think I just learned what endgame is, and I'm here for it. Here for it. I don't know why I put a sweater on, because, well, I went downstairs to do some tidying and I put a sweater on. Then I came back upstairs. It's way too hot upstairs, but like my basement is cold. But I have a couple packages that I just got. I believe this is from Jody. She ordered me something from the UK, and so it is the last of the UK covers I need, I believe. This is a birthday present that I haven't gotten yet. I know what it is because like she asked me what UK covers I wanted. So I needed the Last Rain Wilds, and I needed to start the Fits in the Fool series, so that I can read all of these. Even though I listen to the audiobooks, I still like to have the physical edition. So thank you so much, Jody. There we go. And then a really exciting one is my Broken Binding book just came in. Now this was a trigger buy, I can't lie, that I just thought this looked really pretty and sounded cool. So let's open it together. I forget how protected their books are. And then we got some bubble wrap. They aren't messing around. Okay, here we go. It's always packed so pretty. So this is Sons of Darkness, their special edition. Some ballads are inked in blood. A little paper bookmark. Hate opening their wrapping because it's like too pretty that I don't want to ruin it. But I'm going to ruin it because I'm just going to recycle it anyways. The edges. If you know me, like my favorite thing about a special edition, like if I'm gonna get a special edition, it's gonna be for the edges. I don't really care about anything else. So yeah, I am obsessed with these edges. I think that they are literally stunning. Look at that. The edition itself is really pretty, and I'm really excited for this book as well. The sun will set, the world will kneel, the stars will bleed as the shadows dance to a prophecy long foretold, a tale of war and ruin, a ballad inked in blood. I have number 812 out of 2000. It is signed. There's nothing on the naked book, but it's all black, and I love an all black one. With just like the spine is pretty, a gold spine. And then here is like the end paper, and then this back one is just gold. So it's not like it's not their sub box, so it's not like their most extravagant special edition, but it is a stunning, stunning special edition for a book I'm really excited about. Honestly, this like color scheme, this black and gold, really gets me. Like, I really, really like it. The Blood of the Spear, because I have continued on. I'm now on chapter 18, so let's find that spot. Honestly, I'm flying through this. I'm at about 290, so I'm halfway through. I don't think I'm loving it quite as much as when I first talked to you, but I'm still really, really liking it. Like, don't let that detract. I just kind of got a little, we're traveling. Like, we're just traveling currently. I don't think the entire book is going to be traveling. It hasn't been pointless traveling. There's been things that are happening, but like, I just don't like traveling. Like, I don't know why. I just don't. I know it's necessary, so like, it has to be done. And some of my favorite books, I mean, like, Hob travels the entire time. I don't know why I like Hob books. So it can work for me, but it just like, I don't know why. I don't like it. I don't like it. But we are traveling. I'm really liking the magic system. I liked the end game of this story. I don't want to tell you what it is, but there's a prophecy that could break the world anew. We're learning more about like different creatures and the politics of the world and things like that. Like, I am really enjoying this one. And I do like the characters quite a bit in it. They are young characters. It does read a little bit younger in my opinion. I don't think it reads YA, but I think it reads like younger adult, if that makes sense. I'm having a good time. So yeah, there's my little unboxing. Thank you so much, Jody, for these. I feel blessed always to have you around and hanging out with me, and this was really sweet of you to like reach out and ask what UK editions I wanted. Really, really thank you so much. And then Broken Binding, I mean, they didn't send this to me, I bought it with my own money, but thanks Broken Binding for creating some stunning special editions out there. I'm really excited to get to this one. I kind of want to drop everything and read it currently.
I only have like 60 pages left in this, but I feel like I missed something really big and it's kind of affecting my enjoyment a little bit. I'm like, do I go back? I don't know when I would have missed it. I've been listening to it, but I feel like I missed something. But I really am liking this ending. Like, this ending is like pulling out all the stops. I finished Blood of the Spear and I really enjoyed this one actually. Like, I'm excited to continue into the next story. I'm giving it a 3.5. Like, it very much feels like a solid 3. There's some really interesting elements in this. I really liked the world. I liked the magic. I loved the like idea of summoners and summoners being able to summon demons and the demons being bad, and so they're trying to wipe out summoners, and summoners have like a sign on their hand, and so they're constantly checking people's hands even though they've known them for years. They're still checking them, and I thought like the panic and the like stress and stuff of that was like really cool. Like, learning the fear that people had as summoners was really interesting. I really loved the dynamics between the two brothers. We have two brothers who are going through very similar things but very different things. They're handling things very differently. I love a sibling story. I truly do. I really, really liked those elements. I loved the demons in general. I thought the world building was really cool in this. Like, really, really cool. However, I struggled to distinguish between the two characters, like the two brothers, their POVs. Sometimes listening to the audiobook were really hard for me to distinguish between. And I do feel like some of this was like in one ear and out the other, which could be a me thing. I've definitely been struggling with audiobooks lately, so I probably would have given this a better rating or liked this more if I had read it physically instead of doing the audiobook, just because like right now I'm struggling with audiobooks, but I don't have the ability to read all the books I want to read physically, and I love an audiobook. Like, I truly do love an audiobook, but I'm struggling a little bit with them in my concentration. However, I think I paid really good attention to this. I slowed it down. It wasn't my usual, like, I slowed it down past where I usually listen so that I could pay attention, and I don't think that I missed anything. I just think that, like, I'm struggling with, like, remembering things, if that makes sense, but as I read everything, I enjoyed it completely. So I do think that's a bit of a me thing and not a book thing, and overall I think this book is so well written. The writing is so polished in this, in my opinion. If this had been in SPFBO for me, I could have definitely moved this over as a finalist. I would have given this, I think, a pretty good rating in SPFBO as well. Like, I really did enjoy this a lot. This definitely is a book that I could have seen winning SPFBO, and I think that's really exciting. It's a indie I will be recommending. I can't wait to get to the second. I really, really think that the writing in this is so technically strong, and I do think that there is a really, really vibrant world that has been made. So yeah, I also like
The spears were kind of cool. Like, the prophecy itself I thought was really cool. I enjoyed it quite a bit. So, although there was a lot of traveling in this, and that's like my own personal issue, is some traveling. But that's a me thing too. Anyways, this is it. I read this. I liked it. I will be recommending. I guess the verdict is in, and we should talk about these 3 books. The, like, tagline for this was, like, these books could have won SPFBO. And honestly, I think all 3 of these could have won. SPFBO, again, like anything, is a very subjective competition. And that's, like, the point of it is just to, like, get good indies into the hands of people, to give books reviews. It's not meant to be this unobjective competition. And so all of these had a chance. I think all of these were great books. I mean, obviously, like, The Crimson Queen was my least favorite, but that's a very me thing. And, like, that's the thing. Like, this wouldn't have won if I was a judge because I didn't like this story. But very personal to me and my feelings because it's a story I don't like. The writing itself is really good. So I see why this became such a well-loved series in that year, like why it came in 3rd. However, I wouldn't have given it the strongest rating, most likely, because my enjoyment suffered because of a magic system and a story that is just not my favorite. These 2, however, both could have been high contenders for me. Like, Army of the Cursed, I loved this. I had such a good time. This could have easily been a finalist for me. I really enjoyed this. I definitely can see why lots of people would love it. I think that there's a really cool world, really cool magic system. I think that this one is a really, really solid story. Same with The Blood of the Spear. Army of the Cursed was my favorite of the vlog, but I really enjoyed Blood of the Spear too. I'm really excited to continue. I think that this has a lot more of their classic fantasy feels that a lot of people love, so I definitely could see this going far. I really enjoyed it. I will definitely be recommending both of these, and I'm continuing on in the Raveling as well. These 2, however, had such tough competition the year that they were in. I was going through all the SPFBO years trying to make this video, and SPFBO 7 was a stacked year. I have read, I think, 11 books from SPFBO 7, and there's so many on SPFBO 7 that I'm so excited about. I've read 1 finalist from SPFBO 7. That's it. Let's hold up a stack of these books. I don't even own them all. Here are the ones I own, except for Dragon Mage that was unhauled on my channel a really long time ago but has yet to leave the house. Here's this giant stack of SPFBO 7 books that I own and loved. Like, besides Dragon Mage, I loved all of these. We have Ilborn, we have Winds of Strife, we have Along the Razor's Edge, which are 3 of my favorite indie books. So, like, what? There's Daughter of No Worlds by Carissa Broadbent, there's Of Blood and Fire by Ryan Cahill, which, by the way, didn't even make it as a semi-finalist, and now Ryan Cahill is, like, one of the top names in indie fantasy, and I just think that that's, like, just shows you how subjective all this is and how reading is. And I love the competition for the fact that it gives me a place to look. I specifically love Zach Argyle's blog. I will link it down below. It helped me a lot doing this because the visual aspect of Zach Argyle's blog and the covers just appeals to my brain so well. So that's where I go most of the time when I want to look at SPFBO. He did only start it in SPFBO 6, but for the last couple years you can look on there. But yeah, this is just, like, stacked, and honestly I could do this again very easily. There are so many books that were in SPFBO, whether finalists, semi-finalists, or not, didn't make the cut to be any of them. There's just so many that I want to read. I can actually pull probably a couple off my shelf. So let me know if you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have been following along with SPFBO at all. You do have a lot of SPFBO content coming from me. Because I am a judge this year, I will have a vlog coming reading Covers with Cassidy's group, like my group's semi-finalists. I'll be reading them in September, so there will be a vlog coming where I pick, like, a finalist and stuff like that. And then obviously I have to read all the finalists. So you will get 2 vlogs for the finalists, again, 2 5-book vlogs. Most likely we'll do that in December. That's when I did it last year. And then once I'm done reading those picks, I'm gonna start reading some of the cuts, some of the semi-finalists, some of the things from other blogs, because I've been avoiding reading anything in SPFBO 9 this year since I'm a judge and I didn't want to accidentally read anything. So once I have everything, I know what is a finalist, I can start reading other things in that stuff. But also, like,
I can explore the back catalog. There are so many books in SPFBO that I still want to read. If you made it all the way to the end of this video and you'd like to leave me an emoji just to say you were here, leave me a camel emoji because we've read a book that had a desert setting for a little bit. And then if you want to connect with me on other platforms, my Bookstagram, my Book Twitter, my Book Talk, my Goodreads, and my Patreon are all linked in the description bar below. Have yourselves an absolutely incredible day. Also, a reminder that you can sign up any time in the month for Patreon. It charges you on the date that you join, not the first of the month for my Patreon. That's how I set it up. I'm just going to say that because I did show the bookmarks off earlier in this video, but no pressure. Please feel no pressure ever to join. Your support, you're watching this video, that comment, that camel comment that you commented means the world to me, so thank you so, so much.